What's good, y'all? I wanted to drop a video real quick before I finish out my day. I wanted to talk to everybody about becoming so great that you are an asset to anything that you are involved in. Become so great that you are an asset to anything that you are involved in, meaning your job, any relationship that you have with a person, whether it be romantic or a friendship, or you got to become so great to where it'll never be your loss. It'll never be your loss. If you was to lose your job, it'll never be your loss. If that person would have walked out your life, it'll never be your loss. And a lot of times, people tend to fail to realize how great they truly are, because you all have greatness in you. It's all about you tapping into that and finding that. But each and every one of us, we have greatness in us. You just have to tap into it and you have to find it. And when you don't try to tap into it, when you don't put in the work to tap into it, in your mind, your greatness will be defined based on what other people think about you. See, if you're not careful, you'll sit there and fuck around and allow someone else to define what your greatness is. You'll fuck it around and allow someone else to tell you how good of a person you are, or, how wonderful you are. And ain't nothing wrong with hearing those things from other people. You know what I mean? It can put a little pep in your step, but there's nothing more important than you knowing that for yourself. You have to know those things for yourself, because if you don't, other people will define you. And when you don't take the time to tap into that, you're going to take all those things that people said about you, that people think about you, and you're going to make that your definition of what greatness is to you. And when you do that, you'll end up selling yourself short in life, because you're going based on what other people say and based on how they feel, when in the reality, it don't fucking matter how they feel. People gonna say what they want to say regardless. People gonna look at you how they want to look at you regardless. It does not matter. There's nothing you can do or say to persuade anyone to fuck with you. There's nothing you can do. People have their own reasons and their own opinions, but at the end of the day, it has nothing to do with you. That's why I told y'all before, how someone thinks of you, how people feel about you, has nothing to do with you. That's something that they're dealing with internally. And anything internal that's coming from another person, it don't fucking matter, because it doesn't add or take away anything from your personal life. You see what I'm saying? That's the only time it should matter. That's the only time it would make a difference, is if it's affecting you personally somehow. And if it is affecting you, it's because you're taking it too personal. You see what I'm saying? I have never, out of all the jobs I worked, any friendships that I had, that I used to have, any past relationships, it was never my loss. You know what I'm saying? And when you have that type of mentality, you're going to have haters. People are going to be mad. Because with that mentality, people don't know how to work with you. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to deal with you. They don't know how to approach you. You leave people in a state of confusion. When you have that mindset that I'm here because I choose to be here, I work here because I choose to work here, I do this because I choose to do this, I fuck with you because I choose to fuck with you, can't nobody stop you. And when you're really good at that shit, and you really have this mentality, you have all bases covered. Like my job. You think I'll be worried about if I lost that job? No, because I'm already covered. I already did the work. Because I know that type of shit don't nothing last forever. When you working for somebody else and you punching the clock and all that shit, like you're being controlled by somebody else's time. They're telling you what to do and all that other shit. But when you involve yourself in that type of thing, then you got to understand that you have to have something else lined up. Same with relationships. Yeah, you might be fucking with this person, but do you really think that I would give a fuck if you walked away from me? No. Because there's other motherfuckers that's waiting anyway. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that type of mentality. Do you really think I would give a fuck if you stopped being my friend? No. Because I know in life, when you walk in purpose and you have an abundance mindset, the right people gonna come along. You see what I'm saying? When you have to, it's all within the mind. You know, I talked about that before in one of my other videos. You have to prepare yourself up here mentally. And once you do that, can't nothing here fuck with you. They gonna try. It's gonna try. You're going to have people that's going to try to destroy you. You're going to have circumstances and different types of situations that's going to come your way to try to destroy you and slow you down. But when you have this mentality, can't nothing get in your way but you. So you have to work on becoming so great. And people will talk their shit, you know what I mean? Make it seem like it's nothing without you in their life. Your job let you go like you ain't put in the work, like you ain't do shit. Motherfuckers walk away from you like you're nothing, like you meant nothing. But guess what? It's gonna come a time when reality set in for their ass, and they'll realize like, damn, we really did need her, or damn, we really did need him. You know what I'm saying? And for a long time, I didn't understand my value. I didn't understand my value. I didn't understand my worth. And I had to realize that I am an asset. I am an asset. And so you have to really, really, really understand your value. Because if you don't, other people will define it for you. And your mindset is so weak at that moment that you will literally take everything that they say, and you will literally take everything personal to the point where you will allow those things to define you, and you won't be able to be great. You won't be able to move in the way that you should move to obtain that greatness. And it's all in us. I don't care how your childhood was. I don't care what your past was. I don't care how many times you fucked up in life. There's greatness in all of us. You just have to tap into it. That's what life is all about. You know, anything that we want in life, you know, whatever it is that you want, however it is that you want to feel, if you've been depressed and you want to feel happy, and, you know, you ain't had no relationship, luck in relationships, and you want to feel love and all that, we all have the power to obtain that. But you have to tap into it. And the first step to tapping into that is tapping into it within yourself first. You have to want this shit like you ain't never wanted nothing a day in your life. You have to want it, and you have to chase it. You know what I'm saying? That same energy that you put into chasing a motherfucker and trying to get them to see you, take that same energy and chase it towards your greatness. Take that same energy and chase it towards your destiny. And I guarantee you that you will make it further in life than you would chasing other people and shit. Chasing things that don't matter, putting energy into shit that don't even fucking matter. Become an asset by becoming great. And when you reach that shit, can't nothing stand in your way. Nothing. It'll never be your loss. I'm not saying that you won't feel some type of way, but at the end of the day, it will never be your loss. And everything that you quote unquote lose will be replaced with something even better. Trust me, I'm a witness. I am a witness. But I wouldn't even be able to be a witness if I didn't tap into it. When I tell y'all to do certain things or suggest certain things, I actually do that. I live that in my life. You know what I'm saying? I don't just be talking just to talk. And I'm telling you, from a person who, used to believe in every little bad thing that happened to me and gave so much energy to the wrong shit and gave so much energy to the wrong people and, used to panic and tweak about certain things and certain circumstances. Trust me. Once I started to put hella energy into becoming my greatest self, becoming great, and I started walking with my head high. I used to walk around with my head low so many times. My head was always down. But I had to learn to keep my head up. And I ain't saying there's going to be times where you, even if you keep it up all the time, I'm not saying there won't be times where you feel like putting it down. But what I'm saying is, even when you feel like putting it down, even when it feel like the burden is too heavy to carry, keep your head up anyway. I don't give a damn if you got a couple tears running down your eyes. Keep your head up. And focus on becoming great so that you can become an asset to anything that you're involved in. Stop allowing people to define that shit for you. And y'all know how I feel. Fuck them. I say it all the time. I say, if you see me in person, that's one of the main things I say out loud. It ain't a secret. Y'all care too much about what people think. Y'all care too much about how people feel when it comes to you. But what do you think about yourself? How do you feel about yourself? That's what matters the most. That's what matters the most. That's part of your foundation. And when your foundation is fucked with, then everything else is going to be fucked with. That's just how it is. And if you allow people to control anything about your foundation, how do you expect to build? Not only yourself as an individual, but anything in life. And I get it. But at the end of the day, like, y'all don't put enough emphasis on yourself like you do other things and other people. You got to get to a point, and some people, I feel like we all chasing the same thing at the end of the day. It's just we all have different paths that's required for us to take to get there. But we all, for the most part, searching for greatness and chasing after greatness. I'll take that back. Some people just sitting on their ass and making excuses. But it's a lot of us out there who are chasing for greatness and are working on becoming great. And another thing too is, everybody has an opinion, right? And so you got some people that'd be like, well, if I was in that situation and, I wouldn't do it like that. And, if I was in their shoes, then I would do it like this. But you're right. You probably would do it different. You probably would. But you got to understand that all of our mindsets are completely different. The way we look at life is completely different. And so, although you may be in a certain situation, the same type of situation as the next motherfucker, it don't mean that just because they didn't move in that same way that you would have moved, that they won't get to where they trying to be. All of us have different doors in life, and some doors are open and some are shut. Some of the ones that's open may become shut. And some of the ones that shut may become open. But even though we all have doors in our life, it don't mean that when we open them doors, it's going to be the same shit. That we're going to see the same thing. So you can't sit there and knock off someone else's way of grinding or getting to where they trying to be. Because our paths are all completely different. And at the end of the day, all that matters is that whatever path that you're on, that you don't give up, that you keep going. Because if you can get through all that shit, there's greatness on the other side. You just got to get through it. And you're more than capable. But if your mind ain't right, and if you keep listening to everything else and everybody else and their opinions and shit, you ain't going to get there. That's going to distract you. That's going to slow you down. It's going to make you second guess what it is that you know in your heart that you have to do, that you're supposed to be doing. Because everybody is not going to understand it. They're not going to understand why you chose to do this specific thing. Or, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to understand it, but it ain't for them to understand. You either going to clap for me or you not. And either way is fine. If you clap for me, that's great. I appreciate you. If you don't, that's great. I still appreciate you, because that's motivating me even more and pushing me even more to keep doing what I've been doing. You cannot sit there and just be like, shitting on people because they move a different way, or they don't see things the way you see it. Like me, when I give advice to people, their relationships, I don't let people come to me for advice about relationships. I don't tell them to just leave a motherfucker, because I know what it is. I know how it is. Friendships, whatever. When I give advice, I don't tell people what to do. And those of you who have received advice from me, who came to me before, y'all know how I move. I don't tell nobody what to do, because I know, and me being a stubborn motherfucker myself, I'm stubborn as hell at times, that no matter how much advice somebody can give you, or no matter how many self-help books you read, or no matter what, people gonna do what they want to do regardless. Some people, they just be wanting attention. Some people, they just, they cry wolf and they just want somebody to listen to them vent and shit like that. And then you got other people who would take what's said to them and actually do something with that information and apply it to their life, and then, come up with different results and shit like that. But at the end of the day, you just have to focus on yourself and become great, and understand that no matter how well you do in life, people are going to always have something to say. You're always going to be judged for something. Always. But when it comes to doing what you feel makes you happy, when it comes to you walking in purpose, and another thing too, but people fail to understand, is when it comes to walking in purpose, honestly, it's not really something that you have chose to do on your own. It's purpose. It's a calling. And 9 times out of 10, you don't want to do that shit. You don't want to do that shit. But in order to receive those other blessings and the manifestations that you ask for and that you think about, you have to do it. You see what I'm saying? You can turn it down all you want. But if you want the rest of that, you gotta do that. Ain't no other way around it. And you'll realize, the moment you realize that you have to do it, is because it's when you, like for instance, When I was going against my purpose for years, because I knew what it was, I suffered. I suffered a lot. But once I got tired of that suffering, once I tapped in, I'm like, all right, cool, I get it. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to go about doing it, but I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do it. Everything got better for me. Everything got better for me. And so you don't necessarily have to do it like it's a must. But if you out there and you suffering, ask yourself, like, am I doing what I should be doing in my life? Because it's just something about tapping into your greatness that words can't even really explain it. Those of you who already tapped into it, y'all know what I'm talking about. But words can't even really explain the feeling that you get when you tap into that shit. Because you look at it as one thing. Like, you look at it like, you know, I'm going to answer this. But you have no idea that the type of growth that comes with it. The type of, you know, we all have voids in life that we want to feel, and we go looking for it in wrong places. But it's just something about tapping into greatness that when you do that, it fills in those voids. Negative shit that you used to feel and think about all the time, all that shit go out the window. And it's like you have a renewed mind on how to deal with certain shit that come your way in life. Because it's always going to come. And when I tapped into that shit, y'all, I took off. I was like, I get it now. I get it. And motherfuckers always talking about how they don't give a fuck. No. You sit there and talk about how much you don't give a fuck. No, when you tap into greatness, you really don't give a fuck. Because you no longer look at shit that, losses and, motherfucker, lose your job, or, somebody don't want to be your friend no more, or somebody don't fuck with you no more. You don't look at those things no longer as a loss. You don't look at that shit as a loss. You look at it as lessons learned. And you keep it pushing. All that shit, what used to be a fear, you hold on to certain people, you hold on to certain things so tight because you feared losing it, even though there was plenty of times where you ain't feel good about even having it. You let all that shit go. Because you learn to be rest assured that it will all be replaced with something better. You learn that it's never a loss. And something better is going to come because you're destined to have that. It's in your birthright, spiritually. And when it comes, when it's replaced, whatever replaces it, you ain't got to hold on to that tight because it's yours. It ain't going nowhere. It's yours. So I encourage you to tap into your greatness, so much so that you become an asset to everything that you're involved in. That fuck it mentality, yeah. I'm down for that. You got this.